In an age when the glory of Rome stretched from the forests of Germania to the deserts of Africa, one man stood at the heart of its legions, a general of unmatched loyalty and honor, Maximus Decimus Meridius, brought to life by Russell Crowe, a man of the soil and of the sword, chosen not by birth but by valor to carry the future of an empire, beloved by his men, trusted by his emperor, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, portrayed with quiet gravitas by Richard Harris, who saw in Maximus not just a warrior, but a soul who might restore the old dream, to give Rome back to her people, to return power to the Senate and end the rule of tyrants but in the shadows of the imperial tent. A son listens, and jealousy takes root. Commodus, played with chilling brilliance by Joaquin Phoenix, the blood son of Marcus, but not the heir of his vision, a man of fragile ego and insatiable hunger for power, who, upon hearing that Maximus will be entrusted to hold the empire until a republic can rise, does not plead what does not accept. He strangles the breath from his own father's chest and crowns himself emperor in the night.
I am emperor.
And when Maximus refuses to kneel, Commodus unleashes the full cruelty of Rome upon him, ordering his execution and the slaughter of his wife, Giannina Fazio, and his young son, Giorgio Cantarini, whose final screams echo in the flames of their farm. And as Maximus is cut down and left for dead, bleeding and broken, he crawls through the dust, clinging not to life, but to the memory of those he loved, captured by slavers and dragged across the empire to the blistering markets of North Africa, where men are sold for sport. And there he is purchased by Antonius Proximo, the grizzled, sardonic trainer of men.
And I am Antonius Proximo. I shall enjoy the spectacle of your death.
Played with legendary gravitas by Oliver Reed, himself once a gladiator, freed by Marcus Aurelius, who sees in Maximus a spark of fury, a man who fights not for coin but for purpose. And within the walls of Proximo's school, Maximus meets Juba, the loyal and haunted Numidian warrior portrayed by Jimon Hounsu, a man ripped from his family, whose spirit has not yet broken, and Hagen, the towering Germanic champion, brought to life by Ralph Muller, whose brute strength hides a heart of quiet honor. And together, these men are forged in the blood of the arena, where every match is a dance with death. And Maximus, hiding his name, becomes known as the Spaniard, rising match by match, his skill and courage igniting the roar of the crowds.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Until his fame reaches Rome itself, where Commodus, now seated on the throne, bathes in the illusion of love from the people, even as he erodes the Senate. With men like Senator Falco, portrayed by David Schofield, whispering flatteries into his ear, while others, like Senator Gracchus, played with defiant wisdom by Derek Jacobi, resist, allying with Senator Gaius, portrayed by John Shrapnel, in the hopes that Rome may yet be saved. And in the palace, Lucilla, Commodus's sister, played with quiet strength by Connie Nielsen, walks a razor's edge between survival and rebellion. A widow and a mother, protecting her young son Lucius, portrayed by Spencer Treat Clark, from her brother's growing madness, enduring his incestuous threats while plotting in silence. And when Maximus returns to Rome as a gladiator, his true identity hidden behind a mask, he stuns the Colosseum when he defeats an entire squadron of seasoned killers, commanded to reenact Rome's victories, but instead, he changes the script.
You do have a name.
My name is Gladiator.
How dare you turn your back on me, slave? Remove your helmet and tell me your name.
Same. My name is Maximus Meridius, commander of the Army of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true Emperorius.
Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Declaring to Commodus before the roaring crowd his name, his rank, his vengeance, and the crowd, who once cheered for emperors, now chant for the slave who defied them, forcing Commodus to smile while his soul trembles. And so the games escalate, with Maximus facing Tigress of Gaul, portrayed by Sven-Ole Thorsen, the only undefeated gladiator in Roman history, summoned from retirement to destroy him. But even as tigers are unleashed and blood soaks the sand, Maximus defeats the legend and spares his life, defying the emperor's order to kill, turning the will of the people against Commodus. And in the shadows, Lucilla reaches out, rekindling the flame between them, offering Maximus a chance to escape, to meet with Cicero, his loyal servant played by Tommy Flanagan, who still holds ties to his former legion at Ostia, ready to rally them for the cause. And as Maximus plans to flee, to return with an army and topple the false emperor, Commodus discovers the plot, using young Lucius as bait, and capturing Cicero, hanging him as a warning, forcing Maximus into chains once again. But Proximo, torn between profit and honor, helps Maximus escape, dying in the attempt, proving in the end that even men who sell lives can find redemption. And as Rome holds its breath, Commodus, desperate to destroy the legend growing around Maximus, challenges him to single combat in the Colosseum, stabbing him in secret before the duel begins, weakening him, thinking victory assured. But Maximus, bleeding, broken, still stands, still fights. And in those final moments, with the eyes of the empire upon them, he drives his blade into the heart of the man who murdered his family. And as Commodus dies in the sand, Maximus collapses, his vision filled with the golden fields of home, the laughter of his son, the embrace of his wife, and with his final breath, he entrusts Rome to the Senate, to Gracchus, to Lucilla, to the dream of a republic,
a promise to meet again.
And as Juba buries tokens of his friend in the sand, promising they will meet again, the people of Rome remember, not the emperor who ruled with fear, but the gladiator who fought with honor, the general who became a slave, the slave who became a gladiator, the gladiator who defied an empire, and the man who became legend this summer. Relive the roar of the Colosseum, the thunder of steel, the power of vengeance, the triumph of spirit, in Ridley Scott's epic masterpiece, Gladiator, where one man's story will echo through eternity.